Brighton 2, Manchester United 1. First loss of the season, first L of the season, second game in. And when you lose a game like that in the manner that we did, you have to unpack it. I've seen already straight away all of the reactions online, and it's, Ten Hag's a fraud, sacked by Christmas, get him out, deluded, players are rubbish, Man United are exactly the same, etc., etc. So it's hard to unpack it without trying to overdo anything or underdo anything. So I'm going to do my best to do that. Let's call a spade a spade. I would say my overall my statement to start this off is like, I've left that game with more questions than answers. It's confusing. And the reason why I say that is because I've seen a little bit about what Manchester United want to be and what they're trying to do, which I saw in the first half an hour before Harry Maguire made the mistakes that led to us conceding the first goal. I've seen a style of play. I've seen us abandon those principles, albeit Mason Mount, I think, has reportedly picked up a knock. So that makes more sense as to why he came off. But then if we play better with him in that situation where he's further advanced in a 10, when Bruno's not in there, but then I've got more questions than answers because I'm like, well, Bruno's the main guy. Bruno's the captain. If we look better with Mason Mount in there, then what's the plan? Like, what's our plan in midfield? Ugate's going to come in. So therefore, I'm assuming that means Casemiro would be out. Where do you play Mason Mount and where do you play Bruno if we look better with a 9 in there and look better with Bruno not there? So that is why I have more questions than answers. And also, why, if one player in Mason Mount who came off, reportedly through injury, how all of a sudden has the whole performance just fallen like a stack of dominoes and we've just abandoned every principle that we have? What, just because now Bruno's in the 10, we can't, there's no way that the players can basically calm it down and go back to the game plan that was serving us so well. Another thing you have to call a spade is that very much was reminiscent of other performances at Man United in terms of the capitulation or in terms of the making stupid mistakes. The negatives are that, let's be real, Brighton deserved to win the game with the chances they had. We weren't all bad. I'll get to our good parts in a moment, which is why I'm trying to keep calm of how I kind of talk about this, because it's confusing because you're just pissed off we lost, which obviously I am. But essentially, the substitutions didn't all make sense. If you were forced to take off Mason Mount, okay, that's fine. The Scott McTominay one on for Bruno didn't make sense. I know he wants to get a goal, Erik Ten Hag, but that doesn't make sense. And unfortunately, you do live and die by your decisions as a manager. If you make the decision to start Maguire, which again, at the beginning of the game, I could say, I think I can see why he wanted to do it, because he wanted to keep the continuity and De Ligt's there. So, it's a waiting game. But then if Maguire goes on to do what he did and make those mistakes and that put us 1-0 down, instantly you're going to be under pressure as a manager because you made that decision. That's just the lay of the land. That's just how it goes. So you have to take that on board. I think there were players not doing enough as well. I look at Rashford. I don't think he was particularly good. He ran hard. He worked hard off the ball, but the quality on the ball wasn't there. Up until Ahmad scores, he wasn't having the best game as well. But he managed to get us back into the game, which was, he needs to add that to his game. That sort of being direct off the right-hand side, cutting in and just shooting. Like, not everything needs to be methodical and slow build-up and such. Bruno was finding it a little bit difficult to have the type of quality that he normally does. And again, just lazy defending. The 2 goals that we conceded, and that's where the biggest criticism for me is, where you could go, same old Man United. Just poor level of goals conceded. Really, really easy defensive errors that are just be given away. Tap-ins, literally, from Welbeck to get his 100th goal, big up to him. And to João Pedro in the dying embers of the game, to have that sort of space. There were 2. I think Enciso was there in case João Pedro wasn't as well. I think Adingra picked him out. And it was just so easy. And from a point, and this is another thing that is more of the same, is the mentality of the team. Now, there's one thing having principles. There's principles being built into the side. You can see it. You can't say that you can't. The first half an hour, that's what we want Man United to look like. That's what Erik Ten Hag's vision is for Man United. I said through that stage, yes, it isn't exactly transpiring into chances, but the way we're playing the game is good. But we don't have, the problem that we've got is one, personnel-wise, to carry out the plan, to execute the plan for the duration of the game. But also we keep deviating from the plan in adversity, i.e. a mistake happens, so then now it becomes like basketball, and now we are moving away from the principles that served us well in a different period of the game. And this is why style of play is important. And I think there's this battle between style of play versus just winning. And the truth is, ultimately, yes, results is what matters. But actually, when you look at the finer details of making a good team, you have to be reliant on your patterns and your principles of what you want to do. Because when you do face adversity, you're more inclined to then get the ball back down, get back to your repetition, get back to what you've been working on, and know you'll get to where you want to get to. But this scattergun approach of the way that the game turned into a basketball match, back and forth, you're only asking for trouble. And yes, you might win some games doing that. We've seen us do that many, many times before. We nearly did it today. You know, we were 1-0 down and found ourselves 2-1 up with a good counter-attacking goal, which was helping us in that because we were more of a counter-attacking team. And Xerxes was super unlucky. That was just super unlucky, that offside. He should be there as a number 9. He couldn't get the first one where Bruno squares it to him and it goes to Garnacho, hits off him, goes in. Nothing Xerxes could do about it. I want my number 9 there every single time. And I would ask him to be there every single time. So that's unlucky. But in terms of, as the game was going and I could see it was basketball, I'm like, well, why don't we just freeze the game? Why are we buying into this, basically saying we're basically going down a casino and gambling on red or black? When you could see that Brighton, in the latter stages of the game, stuck to the principle, said, actually, let's get the ball down. Let's start playing, actually, because that's the best way to do things. And when we got it, I think someone threw the ball out to Kobe, took 2 good touches, but got dispossessed, and the ball was back, on our goal where we were defending. I think he had a clipped pass to Scott McTominay. He plucked it out the air, then got dispossessed. And again, the ball's back in our box. We're not giving ourselves any breathing room. Then there's this overemphasis on get the ball quickly, get fast, we can get a winner. Come on, go. When actually, it's like when you play against Unai Emery's team or when you play against Spurs, like you can see the line is so high. Be patient, work the ball around the thirds and pick your moment to pick them off. But we were too gung-ho in terms of trying to get forward quickly. So listen, overall, Ten Hag made bad decisions. Mason Mount, if he is injured, which I haven't even spoke about properly actually, if he is injured, I need more information to come out. It's another problem again, injured again. So we're saying a player we spent big money on and I got big helps for him. And actually he's playing in a way where I'm like, see, he can offer us something, but he's injured again. And if Erik ten Hag's had to take him off because of precaution, because we know his injury problems, that's an issue as well. So it wasn't all bad though. I will say that it wasn't all bad, but there are alarming signs of like, it felt like it was back to square one. It felt like it was back to normal. And some of you will argue, and the rival would say, we told you this, actually that you didn't even move off square one. You're just the same. And it's hard to argue against that after watching what we watched today. Essentially, even I'm saying there were positives, it wasn't all doom and gloom and all bad. Let's be real. Brighton deserved to win the game. And apart from 30 minutes and some transitions, we wasn't good enough. That is the bottom line. Ten Hag has to be accountable for that, from some of the decisions that he made from the starting lineup and some of the substitutions. The players have to be accountable for that, for losing their way in the game and essentially not being strong enough mentally to just even get out with a draw and say, right, damage limitation, it wasn't the best performance from start to finish, but we got out with a draw. You end up losing the game. So that is very much typical Man United. So what better game to rectify it than Liverpool? Do you know what I mean? We've been there before when we've been off the back of bad results. When we have to play Liverpool, form goes out the window. There's a chance there to get back on the front foot. And if we can beat Liverpool going into international break, then it will put us in good stead again. It's the second game of the season. We can't have a meltdown. But I do realise why people are feeling the way they are, quite negative, because there is a feeling that, well, this is just the same. And I understand that. So the players got to get in. We've got to get the new signings settled in. We've got to get a steady team selection and build some confidence, because if you lose against Liverpool going into international break, that's back-to-back defeats, the narrative changes and then the pressure is already ramped up, and that's how it feels already. There you go.